Oh, Chris. Oh, Chris. And Rob, you do got a big ass nose and you are ugly. And yes, I'm judging you and I'm calling you names because y'all been calling me names this whole time. It's not calling names to call somebody a bona fide scrub. That's not about the game. What's the analytics for my game? How come y'all worried about how many times I say the N word, Chris? You fake kid and play. I'm gonna say it in a way where you can't just keep bleeping it out now. You fake kid and play looking boy. Where are your analytics? Where are your data? You say I'm a bad player and I'm this and I'm that. Then how come I can show you analytics that say otherwise, punk? But why do you keep talking about basketball with me? The things that I keep portraying to you and saying to you is like almost 0% about basketball and almost everything about. I'm saying that it's a machine that's driven by you guys, that are led by your bosses, that they're directing you punk bitches to disrespect athletes in a manner that you don't have to do, sir. You guys do not talk analytics. You talk personal. No one gives a fuck what you think about someone's game. Who the hell told y'all that motherfuckers that can't play, a nigga that's sitting up there looking like a whole hamster, talking about, oh, I guess you don't look good to me. You fucking don't. You don't look good to nobody.
So we're gonna talk about this Kwame Brown situation. I'm gonna let my partner kick it off because he know a little bit more about it than I do. I only watch certain things, but I'm gonna give my commentary. So I'm gonna let H go ahead and start it off.
What up? What up? What up? So, how I'm just gonna kick this is I'm gonna point out some of the highlights of what I felt stood out when he was speaking on his little rants. I did listen to over three of his videos, and I also listened to some of the responses from Matt Barnes. Well, Matt Barnes was real short. Steven Jackson responded. His was about 9, 10 minutes. Stephen A. Smith, I read what he said. I also listened to Shannon Sharp, what he had to say. I listened to Chris Broussard from Fox Sports as well. Listened to quite a few people. And just hearing what they said and then listening to Kwame Brown ramble on his many videos. So, first off, I'm going to start off with his little back and forth with Matt Barnes, a.k.a. Becky with the good hair, as he kept calling him. And the number one thing that he kept reverting back to was that, you know, two things: Matt Barnes being light skinned and the whole thing about Derek Fisher taking his wife. First and foremost, as my partner JTL pointed out earlier, and I also had been thinking about earlier this morning, he's doing a lot of talk about black stuff and standing up for black people and black people uniting. And these people are not, living by what's right by black men, and they turn down black men. And you keep referring to Matt Barnes as light skinned. What is that helping? That's a part of the big divide that we have with black people of the light skin and dark skin. And if you feel like these brothers is not doing anything or bringing anything to the table as far as, getting our people together, what are you doing by bringing up this whole light skin thing? Jay, what you think on that?
Well, I feel like me and you had that conversation before, and I bark at you if you make when you used to make those jokes because it's we know that's a big issue, and this is my thing. I love my darker brown brothers and sisters. But the sad thing is, the main people that keep bringing that stuff up be darker skinned brothers and sisters. And we got to realize how often do you really see somebody with a lighter tone that's black even disrespecting somebody for being dark skinned? It's our dark brothers and sisters that keep doing this stupid shit. When you seen Lil Wayne saying that punk ass shit he said and want to date light skinned women or Glock 9 or Kodak Black. It's been them disrespecting the dark skinned sisters the most. That football player, I forget his name, but he a bitch, so fuck him anyways. When he was talking about sisters and stuff and calling them Rottweilers and stuff like that. So it's been our darker brothers that keep and sisters that keep bringing that up. They be the one that keep main ones keep perpetuating because light skinned people, we know that if we come out and say some dumb shit like that, we're gonna get roasted. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if y'all don't want nobody to say that because y'all know that shit will hurt y'all feelings more than it will hurt us. Because y'all the one that keeps saying light skin ain't here no more. And it's like, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. That light skin shit, I heard nothing about a bitch saying I was cute for being light skinned since I was like in middle school. So that shit don't mean that shit been gone. That was in 99, 2000. That shit been gone years ago. But it's like dark skinned people keep bringing that up. Now, if Matt Barnes would say something like that, he'll get roasted. But I notice ain't nobody saying, hold on, brother, you need to stop saying that, calling him light skinned. That's like when Dr. Umar Johnson went on in on that one brother in the argument they had. He kept saying, bringing up the colorism shit. And it's like, bruh, why do y'all keep bringing that shit up? Y'all know we light skinned people ain't saying nothing. We don't even disrespect y'all like that. That we don't hear us saying that no more. So to keep doing that, you better stop because once light skinned people start clapping back, oh, we wrong. Oh, we want to be up on the master's nutsack. And like I said, I love my dark skinned brothers and sisters, but that shit need to stop because you got to think now y'all joke with it so much and y'all keep perpetuating it, it's gonna shoot you back in the fucking face. It's gonna come back to hunt you because I'm telling you, this new generation that's coming up, they're not with a lot of shit. A lot of shit that was sliding in other generations. This newer generation is not okay with it, and they keep hearing that. They gonna start clapping back and be like, "Bitch, you ain't finna keep disrespecting me," and they're not gonna give a fuck. And that's where we lose a lot of, you know, what I'm saying, footing when it comes to the movements that we've been doing for all these decades of trying to get away from shit like that. So until we actually get away from that, it's gonna stay the fucking same, and it's gonna get worse. So he needs to stop that shit.
Right, and I just don't see how you could be talking about black this and black that, but you keep going to the light skin thing. That's the opposite. So you are not helping the cause, you're hurting the cause, and you pushing us back. So on that, to the aspect of him talking about the wife thing. Listen, man, I don't know how many times it has to be said. If a woman is doing something like that, how much fingers can we really point at the dude? Like, we don't know what was going on with that, why she chose Derek Fisher over him, or why any woman would cheat on their husband. And why the finger is just being pointed at Matt Barnes. So I thought that was mad weak. I thought that was very weak, for him to bring up the light skin thing about Matt Barnes and the whole wife thing. I thought that was weak. A lot of people thought it was funny, and people on the internet was like, "Oh, he going in. Oh man, he going ham." And it's like, yo, that's some weak shit to me. It's real weak, and we should be looking at her as a dirty ass bitch if she's fucking somebody that was on this man's team behind his fucking back, somebody who
Mm.
was supposed to be his homeboy, his homie. You know what I'm saying? So why we not looking at her as some little nasty ass skink ass bitch to be doing some shit like that? Not only is you fucking somebody behind your husband back, but from off the same team. And I don't want to be incorrect. I don't remember if they was teammates or if it was when Derek Fisher was coaching, so I can't remember. It jogs my mind right now, but I know they were on the same team, and it's like that's some foul shit. And then he was going to, kept making references to Matt Barnes' parents, like which one was white, or then say like, yo, that when you go start talking about somebody's parents and somebody's family like that, Matt Barnes has every right to just go off on this dude. Because he was taking it too personal. You going to the wife thing, and then you talking about which one of his parents is white or black, and then saying that your daddy must be there raised you, boy. Your daddy wasn't in your life. You ain't had no male in your life. That right there is going too personal. So I think that just off the Matt Barnes shit alone, he was just going way too personal. So if Matt Barnes was to be like, "Yo, I'm about to go really upside your head," like for real, what can he say? What can anybody say?
Yeah,
And
he was
then
acting like a bitch.
right, and then the things with you were saying about Steven Jackson saying that Steven Jackson was in a gang and he used to pay for strippers and used to fly strippers out. And I mean, I don't really see how that's a diss because 90% of the NBA does that. 90% of the NBA fly bitches out, spend money on bitches. So, I mean, if you're trying to say that you weren't one of those guys, I mean, whatever. If you say so, I don't know if he's trying to front like he ain't never paid for no pussy or never paid for no bitch to come see him. Like I seriously doubt that he never has, but I don't really see how that's a diss to Steven Jackson. Now, when Steven Jackson said that whole ass shit about it ain't tricking if you got it, yeah, he sounded like a little trick ass Mark for saying that shit. Sounded like you know somebody but that's for another show. We talked about that before, but all this shit, bringing up that Steven Jackson was in the gang. Oh, okay. A lot of motherfuckers who made it to the league gang bang or used to gang bang or affiliated or down with that because most of the niggas come from the hood. Like I don't know what the fuck that has to do with him being an activist now because he's not banging now, and he said that shit. He said that that's his past life. That ain't nothing with what he doing now, trying to do now. So it's like, all right, you bringing up this shit, or whatever. I really don't see how that's relevant or what that has to do with anything right now. Them dissing you about your athletic skills, that has nothing to do with it. So I think the shit that he was saying against Steven Jackson was very weak and very lame. And once again, everybody is running and saying, "Oh man, he going in on Steven Jackson," but saying that an NBA player paid for pussy, that's like saying a fish has to live underwater. Like I don't see how that's something that somebody should be roasting Steven Jackson about. So what you feel about that, homie?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, bro, you ain't. What are you saying that's really so like you know what I'm saying? The stuff he said about it. It's like you acting like a bitch. That's some female shit. They talk about your basketball game with Sar. You can't come back and say the same thing to them though. That would make it so crazy. But you can't come back and say the same shit to them. So you had to go to taking other measures, which is something that a bitch would do. Because if it was the other way around, they would be like, well, just talk about your basketball game. Let's stay on the subject then. You know what I'm saying? Can you say that about us? No. But we can say that about you for all them years you was mad garbage. We can talk about you. You want to talk, oh, you did this. Your daddy and your mama did this. Oh, you paid for hoes. And you suck. Your whole career, you was one of the biggest busts in history. So what are you talking about? Nigga, you suck. Let's address that. No, you want to talk about? Let's talk about your mama and your dad. It's like, bro, you sound like a bitch, nigga. So when I heard him try to say all the black stuff and then throwing that stuff in, I was like, bro, how you gonna switch with the conversation for? Like I said, when I found out that's what it stemmed from, because he was saying this, and you got this white woman, this, you got this, and doing what you doing, all them black boys. Let's talk about that. I'm like, oh shit, what did happen? I go back and find out it was because they made jokes about your career. I was like, man, if you don't get the fuck out of shit, like this is my thing. All the stuff that Jackson was talking about and he was doing after what happened to George Floyd got arrested. So, all right, you want to talk about that? Let's talk about the fact that this man making sure that his daughter never wants for nothing. Let's talk about the fact that he paid for the funeral. Let's talk about all these people he got together and try to do something about the situation with the laws in
And
Minnesota.
he was
Let's talk
out there,
about that.
and he was out there marching. He was out
Let's talk
there with
about
the
that.
people marching. He wasn't, on no private jet or talking this from some NBA studio. He was out there in the street of Minnesota, out there with everybody.
And let's
So
not
if you
forget. Hold on. And let's not forget the white people he know. He called out. He said, if you white and I'm cool with you and you ain't standing on my side, fuck you. I don't fuck with you no more. Let's talk about
Right.
him calling white people out. So you saying all this shit, but we don't see nothing from you and nothing that you talking about this black shit until niggas talk about your weak trash ass game.
Right.
We
And
ain't standing for that shit no more. We're not gonna let you pull the wool over our eyes and switch what the real conversation was about. Cause we ain't see you out here doing a motherfucking thing. You ain't
and
been
then
doing shit.
one thing that when Steven Jackson was having his rebuttal that he said was about, Kwame Brown trying to hang out with them, trying to hang out with him
Mm-hmm.
whenever they was on the team, and then,
You don't fuck with
talking
me?
about the whole that Steven Jackson's a fake thug, and he was like, well, when I was out going to all these places, going to the hood strip clubs, I ain't never have no security, but you did. So if he's such a fake tough guy, fake thug, why is it that he didn't have any security, but you, Kwame Brown, did?
Mm.
And Steven Jackson is known not just in the NBA community, but in the hip hop world too, as a nigga that's a live wire that don't need security, that'll do shit himself. So when he was making those type of remarks, it was kind of like that really wasn't flying with me either. And then when he was talking about Stephen A. Smith, which anybody who knows me knows I can't stand that motherfucker. I don't care if he get hit by a bus because he's one of the biggest tap dancers I've ever seen, ever. Tap dancing like hell for these white people.
You know they gonna
But
put his tap dancing shoes in the Hall of Fame, right?
yeah, he got to go down as one of the top three tap dancers of all time, better than Gregory Hines.
Oh,
But when he's talking about Stephen A. Smith, once again, I'm not agreeing with him on that because Stephen A. Smith, his job is to analyze and critique. That's it. He didn't never say that, when he was like tearing down black men. I don't recall hearing when it came to Kwame Brown. I don't know about anyone else. But when it came to Kwame Brown, I don't never remember hearing Stephen A. Smith saying, oh, you ain't graduated high school, or you can't read, you're illiterate, or you a deadbeat dad, or, you retarded, or you a
mm.
fag. He ain't say none of that. All he was talking about was on the court. That's it. I'm a big sports fan, so I remember all the remarks that Stephen A. would make about Kwame because he used to have this little thing where he used to say his name, Kwame Brown, Kwame Brown. That's it. I don't ever remember him slamming you personally. So if you're saying that Stephen A. Smith was tearing you down as a black man, I mean, he's harsh on everybody, no matter what color. If you white and you trash, he gonna say you trash. He animated with it, he act like a bitch with it, but no matter what, if you not good, you not good, and he gonna call you out. So you saying that Stephen A. was tearing down black men, I don't do that. I don't see that either because if it was just that, he would never talk good about nobody. And Stephen A. has talked good about a lot of NBA players. You know what the common denominator is? That they're good. They're
Oh,
good.
and let me slide this in there real quick. I was watching tap dance and sell out Shaq, but he said something I had to respect. He was like, people are getting too basketball players are too sensitive. He was saying back in the days when he was playing and beforehand, when people would call him sorry or challenge him, he said he would be like, okay, oh, like he said, Kareem had challenged him like that, and he was like, okay, OG, I'm gonna show you, old man. And he was
Yeah.
like, then he went out there and started dominating. He was like, back then we used to work, and he was on all the smoke, and they was all
All
Matt
the smoke.
Barnes
Yeah, I saw that too.
and Jackson was saying, yeah, that's how it used to be. Somebody would challenge you, and we would go out there and whoop ass. That's the same thing when I used to have respect for MJ. He said the same thing. He was like, yo, if somebody challenged me, I'm gonna go work hard and then come out there, bust their ass and give them 60. Remember me and you talked about that when Pistons and because I used to like the Pistons before, like my brother forced me to like the Bulls. That's all we watched was in the house was the Bulls. But I used to like You know what I'm saying? Dumars used to be my nigga, and Zeke now. You know what I'm saying? The bad boys. But you brought up an interesting point. When back when the bad boys was whooping the shit out of Jordan under that goal, what he did, he got in the gym, started working out, so they stopped punking him. He put on that jail weight. Then he hit the gym religiously and was just dropping shots and getting his shit right. Now if you do that, a nigga need therapy if you say anything about his game. Now a nigga need therapy. So I mean,
Or they say you hating on them, or you a
yeah,
hater, because that's what they were saying about Shaq when he was critiquing some of these young boys.
yeah,
They were saying,
he brought that
oh,
up.
you hating, you hating, you hating,
Why
and
you
it's like,
tearing down other
right.
brothers?
So to me, it just seemed like it's a lot of sensitive motherfuckers out here who can't take somebody giving them critiquing at all. So it's like it make me think like, well, what happened if they in a relationship with a chick and she trying to be like, yo, you need to change this and that? Do they start crying like a bitch in front of the girl too? Because
I want to fight.
that's an interesting thing too. Like with this whole Kwame Brown thing as well, with him acting like this, it's like, well, he keeps saying that he was quiet for all these years, quiet for all these years, quiet for all these years. But if you was quiet for all these years, why are you continuously doing stuff? Why are you continuously making stuff? You could have made one video and then vanished if it was all like that. And then why did it have to come at this point when you said it was about the Jeannie Buss interview? There's been a lot of people that have talked bad about you. Why did this one just prompt you to pop up out of nowhere and you keep making videos? If it's not all that serious, why do you have like 50 fucking videos floating around the internet if it's
That
not
nigga
that
did
serious?
2 live videos a day.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it that what is it that you trying to accomplish or say? Because you can't redo your career over again. It ain't like you can go back in time and hit the rewind button and say, you know what? All right. So now I'm about to rewind. I'm about to show y'all how good I am. You can't. You can't go back in time and rewind anything. So with him not,
Remember what I said pre-production? He said on the live this morning, he was making a joke talking about, and you said my career is a bust, but I'm getting these views or something. He said, and I was like, oh, so you clout chasing right now? That's what you doing? Oh, okay. Because he started laughing. I think something wrong with him a little bit too. So he started laughing. I like, that's it. You clout chasing. All right. Well, go ahead, OG. Get yours. Do your thing. So get your little 15 seconds of fame. I mean, you still look like a bitch out here though. But go ahead, do your thing, my nigga. I guess he had to get it one way or another because I also wanted to bring up the fact real quick. Cause oh shit, Duke Jackson, that's my boy. Shout out to him. I watch his shit. And he was saying, about brothers tearing each other down, but he brought up another interesting point, and I respected it. He was saying how a lot of people could not stand working with Jordan, and maybe that crushed his confidence to be better. You know what I'm saying? Because Rich Hamilton said that, Jared Stackhouse didn't like working with him. I think Gilbert Arenas said something about it. So a lot of people, Jordan like hurt their feelings. Like a lot of other people, like when you look at the Bulls, they were like he was an asshole, but he got
yeah,
results.
that's a. Isn't that what is supposed to happen? I mean,
Right.
he was hard, like you just said. He was hard on the Bulls, but did Scottie Pippen fold? Did Horace Grant fold? No,
Coco.
he punched the cracker Steve Kerr in the face. Did he fold? No. John Paxson? No. All these people who played with the Bulls, they didn't fold because they wanted to get better and be better. Now, we could say that might have crushed the soul of a 17, 18, 19-year old, but I thought about something else too with this whole Kwame Brown stuff. So he was saying about, you know, what happened early with the Wizards, his first 3, 4 years in the league, how young he was, 17, 18, 19, 20, right? Let's not forget one of the greatest players ever to play this game. Our man, may he rest in peace, up in heaven, Kobe. If y'all don't remember, Kobe's first 2 seasons, he wasn't a superstar.
Uh-huh.
If for people who know their basketball history, in his first 2 years, he was not a star. immediately. It took him some time. He had to develop. Kobe came straight out of high school, but he had to get some time and develop. Then by year three, that's when he started coming into being the superstar Kobe, all-star Kobe. You know, in his first season in the NBA, I don't even I'll look it up here, but I don't even think he averaged double digits in his first year in the league.
I don't think he wasn't I don't think they was even giving that much time in his first season, if I'm not mistaken.
He played, but for a while he wasn't even a starter. So that's the
Yeah,
point
yeah.
I'm trying to
So
make is that
yeah,
if
but
you see
also but
started
also
off, go ahead.
but also I mean, now he was a star, but because he was coming out of school so early. But like you said, on the court, he wasn't there yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I remember
Right.
all the hoopla when he got there early.
So what I was making that point to say that's an excuse too that Kwame Brown's making about, oh, he was a young boy and Jordan crushed his spirit. I mean, Kobe's career could, excuse me, his spirits could have been crushed by him coming in the league. I see here his first year, he played 71 games and he only started six. So that means he was
Mm,
coming off the bench, and Kobe averaged 7.6 points in his first year.
yep.
And then his second year, he was averaging 15 points. In those first 2 years, it wasn't really, like I said, the superstar Kobe. So that could have crushed his spirits and he could have went down the drain. Jermaine O'Neal is another guy. He came straight out of high school. He struggled for 3, 4 years with Portland and really then become like the superstar until he got his big contract towards the end of the Portland time when he was going into the Indiana Pacers. So it's the same thing. And Jermaine O'Neal is a big man, just like Kwame Brown, played the power forward and center spot, just like Kwame Brown. It took him 4 or 5 years to develop, but guess what? It happened. He developed. He became an all-star. So it sounds like a lot of excuse making that he's doing too, blaming Jordan and blaming this and that and blaming this and that for why he didn't become what he should have been. So he's making a lot of excuses when there's other. Kevin Garnett came straight out of high school. Now, Kevin Garnett didn't take 5, 6 years to develop, but his rookie year, he didn't put up huge numbers. So I just named off three people who came straight out of high school who struggled at the beginning, but still went on to be all stars, all NBA, Hall of Fame. So he's just making a
Winning
whole lot of
championships.
winning championships. I'm just hearing a whole lot of excuse making on his end. And with Jordan being harsh, you was only under Jordan your first 3, 4 years in the league. You wasn't under Jordan your whole career.
Mm.
So what's the excuse for when you left from with Jordan? What's the excuse? You want to blame injuries? Like if you want to blame injuries, I can name people too, like Amari Stoudemire, who big man who had injuries who came back. So it's like he's making all these excuses, and when he says, well, y'all get paid to talk bad about black men, y'all get now, of course, yeah, we know that they get paid by white people. If you work for ESPN or Fox or Showtime or whatever, yeah, of course, the white people are paying them. But are they getting paid just to talk bad about black players, or are they getting paid just to talk bad about people who are bad, period?
No, see, but I gotta disagree with it. It ain't that they getting paid to talk bad. They getting paid to talk sports. So if they can talk good about somebody, they gonna talk good. That's just like when they was talking to Shaq. They weren't shitting on Shaq. They ain't coming to, man, you a big monkey. You know what I'm saying? They ain't doing that. That's what tripped me out when they talking about somebody game with the game and all that great. That's what it was. That's the locker room talk. And if you had it in you, it brought it out. I know all the stuff that I've been through in my life when somebody tried to say something, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna show you. Especially me being a fire sign. I'm an Aries. So I'll be up to the challenge when somebody tell me when I can't do something. But when you come from the era, and that's where it's bad at now, because the era back then, yo, you had more fathers or father figures around and big brothers that cared and they pushed you. Shaq was telling a story about his stepfather pushing him, and that made him become something. But nowadays, when you got stories like him, even though he come back from around that era, basically, now when you but actually he came in when the era was changing. That's excuse me, I gotta say that he came in when the era was changing. But from pre 99 dudes had to step up to the plate and show that they was worth it. They had to work for it. That's just like, and that's another show, but that's just like the wage gap thing that women are talking about. It's like in the WNBA. Well, these brothers had to work to get there. They didn't just give them no sponsorship deals like that for nothing. Jordan and everybody didn't come out the gate getting sponsorship deals. They get it now, but back then they wasn't giving motherfuckers that shit. They had to work for it. And Jordan said his first shit came what 3-4 years after he was in the league, or a couple years or something. So it wasn't like it just as soon as you came out you got it. They had to bust their ass to get that shit. So you got people at a time coming in where they had to help save the fucking league. Period. Imagine that kind of pressure. You coming out, you a top draft pick, and the league sucks. Niggas ain't getting money like that. So you had the not only the pressure to make the Bulls better or whatever team you came on, you also had the pressure of saving the fucking league. So now niggas come out crying and all that shit, getting $1 million deals before they even fucking hit the court. And niggas is crybabies. Niggas is bitch made. So it's like, I mean, should you be in the NBA or the WNBA, bro? Because you crying. It's grind time. When you get, God bless you to get that deal, doesn't mean that now your troubles are over. That means now the work has just begun. That's just like when I seen Making a Band and punk ass Puffy had signed all them people and they was over there laughing and chilling. He was like, look at these motherfuckers. They had like they made it. No, this where the work start now. And people don't get that. So we got to be careful about this attitude, man. It's too much feminine shit going, crybaby feminine shit. I'll say that because when a woman is feminine, that don't mean she crying all the time. That means she gonna have more elegance and grace. But too much of that crybaby feminine shit. And it's like, listen, this is the time to show and prove your work if you've been trying to grind and get here for all these years. So when he got there, he let it go. But he still was blessed to get in all them seasons. So say at least I made it because as an athlete, football, basketball, you only got 3-4 seasons to prove yourself. So if you still was there at least 10 seasons plus, and you can say, hey, well, at least I was here long enough and I made money and I helped my family and my moms and stuff like that. Do that as a man. Keep it at that. Y'all look like busters for disrespect. At least I stayed. A lot of brothers don't make it that long. You could have did that. No, nigga was fucking your wife, boy. Yeah, like, but you calling people boy. If that ain't the most, and colorism, if that ain't the most racist shit to be sitting around and calling other black men boy and light skinned Becky with the good hair, come on. I mean, that shit was funny. I ain't gonna lie. That Becky with the good hair, that was a good zinger. I gotta give him that one. But the boy and all
But
that
like we
shit, come on,
said
bro.
what we said earlier off air, like yo, what is it that you're doing? Like I'm
Yeah,
waiting for him to make a tape. Excuse me, tape. Damn, I sound old, like a 50-year-old
for
dude,
real, a
50,
clip.
60. I'm waiting for him to make a video where he's saying, "Yo, this is what I've done, or this is what black people I've helped, or this is the organization I'm building, or this is how I'm helping black men moving forward." He keeps saying, "I'm gonna show you coming up soon. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you." All right, well, you talking a lot of hot shit about these other guys and what they not doing, but you're not saying what you're doing. How are you helping black people? Because it's easy to just sit in front of your little iPhone or whatever and bark about this person ain't black enough, this person ain't black enough. All right, well, what are you doing that showing that you black? What are you doing? Who are you helping? Because you sitting here bringing up colorism and you saying this and that. I mean, that's not anything that's really helping. It's not
No,
helping us as a people. It's not helping us in any way. And I think that all this caught a lot of people off guard is what I think. I think a lot of people just got caught off guard and it was something like you said, it was funny, it was hilarious. He's mad country, so it sounds funny. But in listening to some of other people's opinion about this, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that Matt Barnes was my favorite player in the NBA because he wasn't. He was a role player, he was a bench player. But unless someone can tell me differently, I've never heard Matt Barnes boast and say, I was the best player in the league or I
nope,
was one of the top 10. Matt
nope.
Barnes, his career average is about around 10 points a game. He was a starter sometimes here and there, but he was mostly a reserve coming off the bench player. And with that, nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of
He's
people
still
who
better than Kwame
who exactly. There's a lot of people who came off the bench and had a look at Derek Fisher, who we was talking about earlier. He was a starter, but he wasn't nothing like that. Or the kid who's coaching now, Tyrone Lue. Coming off the bench. Now he's a NBA coach. It's a lot of people who had careers sort of kind of like Matt Barnes, and then Steven Jackson. He was a big part of that team that he won the championship with the Spurs. And Steven Jackson, kind of the same. He started here and there. He did get a big contract from the Bobcats when he was playing. So Steven Jackson was a step above what Matt Barnes and Kwame Brown were. Steven Jackson was like borderline, could possibly be an all star. He was cool. He was a good player. He wasn't no superstar or anything, but he was borderline right. He's like the level right below an all star. You know what I'm saying? Like right under there. So I don't really see a big problem now. Of course, my partner and I have always talked about, doing shit yourself. Him and Matt Barnes didn't have to go to Showtime or anything like that. They could have did something on their own as two black men, but they went the route they went. That's on them. But I don't personally see where these two brothers are so bad. I really don't. I don't. I watched some of their interviews where they interview people. I've even listened to some of the like when they're picking who they think gonna win in the playoffs and shit this year. I don't see them like deliberately going at people like on purpose. I don't see them bringing up the same people over and over or trying to directly, Steven Jackson is just straight up with it. If he thinks somebody's trash, he gonna say it, and that's what I like about him. He don't hold no punches. He don't hold back. Some other analysts will be scared to say, "Oh, this player don't have it no more." No, he'll just come out and say, "Yo, you need to retire." You know what I'm saying? Steven Jackson is just straight up. He like that uncle who gonna tell you like it is. You
though.
know, and to me, that show is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? They can pretty much they can't say every single thing they want to say, but they can say a lot of what they want to say. They can smoke weed. They could, fuck with the people that they want to fuck with. Even talk to some cats from the hip hop world. So I don't see them as having a show like Kwame Brown said. Their whole show is about tearing down black men. I don't see that because they give a lot of praise to a lot of
No,
people.
he just saying they about tearing him down. That's what they meant to say.
Exactly. Because, one of my most favorite players of all time whose career got derailed by injury, Penny Hardaway. I think Penny could have went on to be one of the best point guards ever, but it didn't happen. They gave this brother a lot of praise when he came on their thing. They was just praising him, like saying how they looked up to him, how they wanted to play like him, how he was their favorite player. So they wasn't tearing him down. And whoever
Mm.
we can name, Shaq, we can name a lot of people that they give a lot of praise to and get them their roses to their face. So I really don't agree that their show is based to tear down black men. I don't see it I think that they talk real good about a lot of black men. In my opinion, I think that they give black men a lot of praise. And I just feel like this is somebody who has had 20 plus years of being the butt of the jokes. So I guess maybe this was his boiling point where he just felt like he had to erupt because he was tired of people talking about him. But yet and still, nobody was talking about his mama. Nobody was talking about his kids. No, it wasn't. It was all about that he was a bust on the basketball court. That's it. That's it. So everybody that's running to his defense and like, oh man, he going in on them and it's fine, people, if you want to roast somebody, it's fine to have jokes and all that. But when you going into which one of your parents is black, nigga? What did your daddy not love you? Or one of your grandparents is white, the white side, all that's unnecessary because they never did that to that man. I've never heard none of them talk about his parents, his daddy, or anything like that. The only person who did that was Charlemagne, but he's a big piece of shit anyway. So that's part of his stick. He gonna, say some shit like that. But outside of Charlemagne, I haven't heard nobody talk about this man's family or his personal life. So all this little personal shit that he's saying, it shows you where he's coming from. He's in that aspect, he's coming from a place of a bitch.
Yep, pretty much. So I guess we can go ahead and end the show here. Hopefully y'all enjoyed everything. Once again, make sure y'all hit the notification. You know what I'm saying? That subscribe button, then that notification bell so y'all can always hear everything that we doing. You know what I'm saying? Get the notification. Go back and watch some of the old videos. You know what I'm saying? In case you missed any or this your first time checking us out. You know what I mean? So we'll be back, man. Fuck with us.